She turns toward me holding a lit match up to her face, and with this calm, empty smile, she says, she likes it better when you make the room feel like downstairs. Hi, I'm Nicole, and this is Haunted Threads After Dark, where I read you spooky, scary, haunted stories. So, turn up the volume, turn down the lights, and whatever you do, don't look behind you. A few years ago, my friend Riley and I went to a haunted museum while we were out of town for the weekend. Most of it felt creepy in a fun way. Old funeral photos, cursed objects, glass cases full of things people said were haunted. We were nervous, but still laughing. Then they took us down to the basement. A staff member told us the basement held the museum's most dangerous exhibit. One object had been sealed away after people claimed they heard it whispering to them, smelled smoke after seeing it, and brought home something they could never get rid of. At the end of the room, inside a glass case, was a doll, small, old, yellow dress, thin hair stuck flat against its head, one eye a little lower than the other. But the worst part was how it looked wet, not shiny, but wet, like it had been pulled from black water and set upright behind the glass. The staff member told us not to touch the case and not to speak to it directly. I laughed because it sounded ridiculous. Riley didn't. She stepped closer and stared at it. I told her we should go. She didn't answer at first. Then she said really softly, "It's looking at me." I told her it was a doll. But when I looked back at the case, my stomach dropped. Its head was tilted slightly more than before. Not much, just enough. I grabbed her arm and pulled her away. She came with me, but she kept looking back over her shoulder the whole way out. After that, something about her changed. She stayed with me for a few days because she didn't want to go home alone. At first, I thought she was just shaken up, but then she stopped sleeping. Or at least that's what she told me. She'd sit in the dark for hours, barely ate, kept asking if I smelled smoke. A few times I caught her whispering to herself in the spare room. And when I asked her who she was talking to, she just stared at me like she didn't understand the question. One night I woke up to the sound coming from the spare room. At first I thought it was a lighter. Then I realized it was a match, striking over and over. That little dry scratch, then another, then another. I got up and went to check on her. The room was dark except for brief bursts of orange every time a match lit. Riley was hunched in the corner, back to me, crouched there on the floor, striking match after match. I whispered her name. She stopped. For a second. Everything went quiet. Then she turned toward me, holding a lit match up near her face. The light hit her eyes. She looked exhausted, pale, dark circles under her eyes. But the worst part was her expression. She looked calm. Then she said, she likes it better when you make the room look like downstairs. I didn't know what to say to that. I asked what she meant. She just smiled a little and let the match burn all the way down to her fingers without flinching. The next day, the whole house smelled like smoke. After that, things got worse. She kept all the lights off in the spare room. I'd hear her whispering in there late at night, too low to make out words. Twice, I found burned matches lined up on the windowsill. Once I opened the door and found her sitting cross-legged on the floor, staring at the closet like she was listening to someone inside. I asked if she wanted to call somebody. She looked at me and said, "It didn't stay in the basement." Ooh. A couple of nights later, the fire alarm went off. I ran out and saw smoke already pushing down the hallway in the spare room. I threw the door open. The curtains were burning. The carpet near the bed was already blackened, and Riley was sitting on the floor in the middle of it, perfectly still. staring into the corner with this awful little smile on her face. I dragged her out, coughing so hard I thought I'd pass out. She fought me, not hard, but enough that I knew she didn't want to leave. The fire department got there fast enough to keep the whole house from going up, but Riley was gone before the sun came up. Not in the house, not outside, and she wouldn't answer her phone. The police found her the next day in the basement of an abandoned building a few blocks away, sitting on the floor in the dark. No burns, no smoke in her lungs, nothing that explained any of it. Her eyes were fixed on the far corner of the room. In one hand, she was holding a single burnt match. I called the museum after that. I wanted answers. I wanted someone to tell me what the doll was and why Riley came back like that. They told me they had no doll matching that description. Then they told me visitors were never taken into the basement. I tried to move on after that. I really did. Then last week I woke up in the middle of the night because I heard the same sound again. A match striking in the dark, just once, from the corner of my bedroom. So, what do you guys think it was? Do you think it was a spirit that followed Riley home? And I have a question. Is Riley dead or was she alive? Because they said something about no smoke in her lungs, so it made it sound like she wasn't, still living. But then again, she was sitting there staring. But I guess you can do that if you're not living. I don't know. Anyway, what do you guys think it was? Because I don't have a clue. But if you can let me know in the comments, that would be great. Or if you can just, send me a comment. I love to talk to you guys in the comment section. So send me a comment, bookmark this for later so you can watch it again if you want. Please follow me and like this video. That means a lot to me when you guys do that. Like I said before, I'm a very new creator for this kind of genre, and I would love your support. So if you guys have a spooky, scary story that you want me to read to you or read to my listeners, then go ahead and go to hauntedthreadsafterdark.com and submit your story there, and I would love to give your story a voice. Now, if you want to hear more spooky, scary, haunted stories from me, then follow me here on Haunted Threads After Dark, and do me a favor, sleep tight if you can, and I'll see you tomorrow.